Welcome to another episode of Mafia Memoirs. We are live at SEMA. I'm Jody.
I'm Rod.
And we have the man, the myth, the legend,
Jamie Buchanan.
Jamie Buchanan from Visual Perfection, otherwise known as Ernie.
Ernest.
Ernest.
That's it.
Oh no, guys, we're super excited to be here. It's been an amazing one day. So we're on day 2, and we thought we would just corner Jamie and visit with him. He's one of our favorite customers of RoadFS. I actually went out and visited with him for what, 3 days?
3 days.
About 2 months ago, and I tell you, he's got a phenomenal operation. So I wanted to talk to you about your operation. You know, I think a lot of guys, you know, they're trying to build their business and they feel like they're never going to get there, but you seem to have hit a milestone where you have some real momentum in your business.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We just put your head down, go to work. No, you see the goal or you see the vision, but just one day, man, you look up and you're there, and then you're like, wow. But then you get, now that we've reached that, now we have this big supporting cast. You guys, the Mafia, P&S, we have all these guys that have been there, done that. So together there's hundreds of years of knowledge and wisdom, so you can kind of avoid some of the pitfalls if you will take to what they tell you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest challenges is as you're growing, Rod and I talk about this all the time, is you're growing, and then you hit a plateau.
Yes.
And it's like, all right, how do I move from this plateau? And is this plateau good enough? For some people, that's good enough. But Rod and I are looking at it, especially with RoadFS, it's like, all right, man, we've hit this plateau, and our customers are driving us to a new plateau, and we're trying to figure out, all right, how do we go fast enough? How do we strategically move forward that doesn't crush us?
Yeah,
you know, how are you tackling that challenge?
Well, what I've done is, over the past 8 or 10 months, I took 4 people to take me out of the game, so to speak. One person has a strategic job to do. They just have to do that. That's Bill Belichick. Look here, you have one job to do, you do it at 150% because you know the man beside of you is going to do the same.
Yeah.
So they're doing that, which allows me to go in and collect data from you guys and from Bob and from Rennie and from Keith and all the guys that we have in our network and say, okay, what's working for you? Here's where you are. What can I take away from that? Then I take that data, I take that knowledge, I take those facts, then I put them on a board or on a sheet. And I know you really like boards. According to Roger, I have boards
whiteboards everywhere.
Everywhere. So then you take those and you break that down and say, okay, this would never work where I'm at in my market or for XYZ, whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then you take and you apply what things that you can apply. And then you put that on your pros board and your cons board. And then you start implementing them one at a time. And when you have those people that you've kind of brought up through the ranks, and most of my guys are tenured with me for a long time, so they know how the ship runs.
Yeah.
So they're taking that part of the ship and keeping it running while we're trying to find new land and, you know, make new discoveries and do the things we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what is interesting about it is the market is so kind of vibrant right now that you can take it in different directions. And people are kind of absorbing in different, going into different markets and deciding what's going to work in their area. And I think that's what's important is to look at your area, because there's certain things that won't work in certain areas, certain pricing, certain features, certain services that you just can't do in every market. So
yeah, that's true. Very true.
I think one of the things that really impressed me when I was visiting with you was, you know, we spent 3 days really trying to hone in RoadFS to work for your business, and Emily was phenomenal. I mean, just working with her was great. And but at the end of the week, after spending 3 days with you, you said, all right, Jody, pull off the gloves, straight up, third-party opinion, outside looking in, what are the things that you would change? And I loved that humility of going, you know what, I know there's some minute things that I can tweak in my business that if I'll just listen to somebody's outside perspective, and I can glean those things that, like you said, fit my goals, my vision.
That's right.
So, talk about that a little bit. How important is that in people's business?
Listen, we get so wrapped up, we take so much pride, and we put forth so much energy and effort to what we do. Sometimes we can, so to speak, miss the life preserver that's coming by the ship. It could be this guy here has this one, it doesn't matter what it is, piece of the pie, whether it's a chemical or a tool or a strategy or whatever it may be, and you may miss that. So you've got to be humble enough to say, what do you see that you see would fit better? What would be that advantageous? Because we get it in our heads, man. Oh, look, I've always done it this way. Listen, it's always worked. I have the best process, and you don't. Things are so evolving, so fast, and moving at such a quick rate. You'll miss it. You have to ask other people. And look, we're on different sides of the world, basically, when it comes to states and miles and how things are done and what you can use, what you can't use. So, man, it's nice to have that fresh wind or that fresh perspective. And you say, I never saw it like that, or I never heard it like that.
Yeah.
Then you have that new motivation. You have that new itch to say, I can do that. But if I do what he said, plus I had a few sprinkles.
Tweak it, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
a
that.
few sprinkles, and then it's like, oh my, that is amazing.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is to be, like you said, it's humble, humility, and then sometimes that outside perspective, you're looking at something so hard you just don't see it, and then somebody else, you throw it over to them and they're like, that's perfect, and they're like, that ain't it, Chief, and that's just as valuable, is to find somebody that's like, I know where you're going with this, but you're not, you're like, here's the mark and you're over here. So shift it a little bit.
Yes, that's where those people that you invite in that want to help, they have your best interest in mind, because they're becoming a strategic alliance with you to make you better. You're looking for the ones that are going to make you better.
Yeah.
Not stay the same, or just give you that pat on the back and say, man, you're doing good. There's no, look, man, this is great.
Yeah.
I see a few things here, man, I'm going to jot a few notes. And then you have to be willing to take those and say, I've never seen it. I just never seen it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Bill Quinn just popped in and said hey to you. So, and he made me think of, a call that Rod and I had with Bill just 3 weeks ago. It's like, all right, Bill, what are some things that we can improve that'll make it better for you? And Rod and I are constantly looking at ourselves and trying to tweak the knobs and figure out how we can be more efficient, more fast. And I think that's the biggest challenge with the business is to really honestly look at yourself and assess and go, you know what, I am a little weak here, and if I'll just tweak these knobs or I'll listen, get some outside input, and then implement with your sprinkles, it really helps you elevate the game, because you're taking somebody's recommendations and putting your own flavor on it with your vision. I think that's really, really critical.
I think that there's two pieces of that, though. One is you have to work with people that are comfortable enough being honest and telling you, maybe where you're not doing so good, and then you got to be honest enough and humble enough to take that feedback, because a lot of people get offended by that. I mean, there's a lot of people we've talked to that they want to start something in their area, and they'll be like, so-and-so told me that's not going to work in my area, and it just really pissed me off. And you're like, you can't be that way. If somebody else sees it a different way, take a look at it. They may be wrong, but take a look at it and see, because it's not, you can't do everything. You can't be all things to all people. You've got to pick and choose what you do.
Yeah. That's for sure. I agree 100%.
So you're looking to 2020.
Yes.
What's changing? Are there some things that you're looking towards that you're going to adjust, or you're going to refocus? Or
we are. We're looking at customer loyalty programs. We are looking at bigger business as far as a one-stop shop for a major automotive group, like you guys were discussing earlier about someone that you guys are dealing with. I'm very interested in hearing about that. We're looking at, as you have told us, about branding and signs and making it whenever they see that, they know what that means and what that's about.
Yeah.
And then they can tell everybody else.
Yeah.
So we're really, really looking at branding heavily.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people really miss out on is branding not only is a representation of your company, but it's a representation of you, and it's a reflection of your customers. Because when they start to identify with your brand and they start talking about your brand,
yes,
and being the voice for your brand, then business really grows, right?
Absolutely.
And that's really, really key. And I think, when I went and visited you, that's one of the things that I saw in your team and your customers coming in. They connected with Jamie Buchanan. They connected with Emily, right? They're like, I want to do business with these guys.
Yes.
I want to do business with this brand, and it really is a critical point to your growth.
It is. We look at ourselves as like, you're coming with a problem, dirty car, scratch, nasty interior, whatever it may be, and we're the problem solvers.
Yeah.
And we're advantageous about helping. How can we help you? What do you need?
Yeah.
And then we get them where they need to be. So they push us to where we want to be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think it's important to understand when you're talking about your brand is, what is your brand and how, so many people are so absolutely just rigid, right? I mean, it's like, I've worked for places and talked to people and say, no, man, I got to have these certain colors and it always has to be that color. And Jody and I are like, hey, it's AFO, it's red, white, and blue,
Yeah.
I mean, we have that brand, we want to stick with it and everything, but it's okay to modify that for specific needs, and sometimes it does you better to branch out and let that brand still have its vision and still be what it is, but allow it to flow and be a little more fluid and for typical reasons,
Yep. Because when it flexes, when it breathes, when it moves, it's going to change something.
Yeah, it will.
It is. You have to be willing to let the dynamics of it just kind of take place.
Yeah, one of the things that my wife and I have really been talking about a lot lately is, we often talk about we need to be laser focused. And I really, after listening to Matt Oppenheimer's keynote at the Voice of Startup Week, he talked about being maniacally focused. And I like the idea of being maniacally focused because you think of the Tasmanian devil, man, he's focused on eating that rabbit, but he's pivoting all the time, right? To get around the obstacles or even chew through the obstacles, right? Because he's maniacally focused, but he has the flexibility and the fluidity to pivot when he needs to stay in line with that vision.
That's right.
So, yeah. That's good, man. Yeah. So what are you looking for? I mean, we're about ready to start day 2. The doors are about to open. We wanted to grab Jamie real quick. Is there anything you're hoping to do while you're here at SEMA other than hang with Rod?
No, that was my ultimate goal, and we've been hanging for like Velcro for the first day. So day 2 and 3 just can't get better, So it's been super great.
And we still have to do the SmackDown, so he's brought the belt. So get ready because I'm taking it down.
Pay-per-view.
Huckleberries,
Pay-per-view, baby.
Team Huckleberry taking him down. So anyway, hey guys, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Mafia Memoirs. If you're at the SEMA show, please make sure to swing by and see us at the P&S Detail Products booth. We do have a SEMA show special for RoadFS, but you have to drop by and talk to us. And yes, and remember to vote for Rennie for president. That is a promotion today. So if you didn't see it, there's some awesome shirts that have been tagged and stickers, and we're promoting Rennie for next president. Little fun at SEMA. You guys have a great day, and we will check you next time. See ya.
Later.